The tank, the big boy boss of Left 4 Dead 2, which is incredibly misunderstood by newer players and is often misused and wasted, leading to some charming verbal abuse by your teammates and very often a kick out of the game. So this guide will aim to help you become a better tank and will give you a system for learning when, where and why to attack so that you don't waste the tank. Let's go! So at some point in our Left 4 Dead careers, we've all been this tank, the one that charges in without really thinking, and without asking himself whether it's a good idea to charge in. People just see the tank and see a big bulge of muscles all consumed by rage, and they think they're supposed to play it that way, just charging in like a maniac and trying to smash everything. Unfortunately, that will very often lead to this happening, and you will do very little, if anything, with the tank. This is all, I think, because of two big misunderstandings about the tank. The first one being that you're supposed to be hyper aggressive and simply charge after the survivors non-stop, holding W and smashing left mouse button when you get near them. Like I said, there is a time and a place for this, but most of the time you actually need the virtue of patience. You need to not charge in like a maniac. You need to wait for the right opportunity, otherwise you're just going to get shot to shit. And we'll learn how to identify these opportunities in a minute. Now the second big misunderstanding is about the tank's ultimate goal. What do you think it is? Have a little think for a second. What do you think the tank's ultimate goal to achieve is? You probably thought to yourself, to kill the survivors, just to smash them to shit and kill them, right? I'm a tank, that's what I'm supposed to do. Now this is mostly true, sure, but think about the bigger picture of what the game of Left 4 Dead Versus is. It's a competition of two teams of survivors trying to make it through levels, and the farther they get through those levels, the more points they get, and whoever gets more points at the end wins. So the bigger goal is to stop the enemy team advancing through the level so that they don't get more points. A tank is a great way to halt their advance. You can keep them in one spot, get them running backwards. This means they won't get any more points. Then you can just sit back and wait and let the special infected and hordes take them out. Or you can wait for a silly survivor to make a mistake, like poor old Larry the electricity guy here. We put him on the ground, now we're just going to sit on his body until he dies, because there's no hurry. I can keep going and hitting him to reset the timer, all while my special infected will kill the rest of the survivors. So understand, as a tank you're trying to stop them advancing through the level. If that means just standing in the way of where they have to go to advance, that can be an effective strategy with the tank until the opportunity where it's safe to attack them comes up. Because we do want to unleash the rage and go full on crazy tank sometimes, but you gotta wait for the right moment. And very often it can be a case of simply keeping the tank alive because that stops the survivors advancing. The sooner the tank dies, the sooner the survivors can get moving through the level. So keeping yourself alive for as long as possible is very important in many situations. A tank that only lasts 30 seconds is nowhere near effective as a tank that lasts 5 minutes, which you can potentially do if you keep landing damage. Because remember, just because you spawned in as the tank, it doesn't mean it's entirely your job to kill the survivors. You still have special infected teammates and hordes. They need to help as well. Sometimes it's good to just let them go for it. Here I'm just going to stay out the way. There's two healthy survivors, I can't catch them easily, so I'm just going to keep the tank alive. And this is especially important in some finales like this one, or like the No Mercy finale, or the Death Toll finale, or the Dark Carnival finale. The survivors cannot progress through the levels, the bar will not go up until the tank is dead. So keeping it alive is very important, even if it means just standing out the way because there's nothing you can do. Just let the tank survive for as long as possible and wait for something to happen that can allow you an opportunity to attack. Even if it means losing control of the tank yourself and it passing to somebody else. There's no use charging a tank into a bad situation where they're just going to get killed instantly. So with those few things in mind, here's a little example of two of the same situation tanks and how differently they play out because of how they're played. So this is Dark Carnival, just before the roller coaster. I'm going to get myself some pills. So now there's 3 healthy survivors that can outrun the tank. So this isn't a great situation for the tank to run into because he can't catch anyone. And here he is out in the open. We've got loads of room to move. He's going to try and throw a rock in the open. He's going to get Molotov. And unfortunately for this guy, he's going to be one of those tanks. Nothing he can do because he wasn't patient. He didn't try to halt our advance and he didn't try to stay alive. Now let me demonstrate a different approach. On the same part of the map, with a similar situation, 3 survivors will be able to outrun me in a second. And what I'm going to do here is try to pick them apart and take my time and be patient, because this little situation here is a bad situation for me. There's 3 healthy survivors that can outrun me. I'm not going to be able to catch them. They're going to shoot me to crap. But there is one survivor that is not healthy and that is in orange health. So I'm going to target this one and then get the hell out of the room. But the survivors decide to stand near me, so I try to hit him. And what do you know? I managed to get him. And then I get a second survivor down. Now I'm going to get the hell out of there. I could chase after the other 2, but there's really no hurry. there's really no reason to chase after these two right now. I can let my special infected do some work. As you can see, that charger there doing some nice work. Gonna hit a rock on that guy. And all I'm doing now is waiting for opportunities, waiting for the special infected to do something, waiting for a mistake, and oh, there's one, another survivor down, and the final mistake from the last one, trying to save his buddy before I reach him. Silly fucking Billy. So, understand, patience is the key here, and honestly, have some fun with it. Play with your food. You don't need to kill the survivors as quick as possible. That's not the goal, it's just kill the survivors. Speed doesn't really matter as long as you halt their advance. One of the best things you can do if there's a bad situation that you really shouldn't run into is just stand somewhere out the way, probably up high, and throw some rocks. That can be a good enough distraction. Here I'm trying to halt their advance by keeping them from the switch that they need to push on this part of the parish campaign. This gives my special infected buddies time to kill them, the infected horde time to kill them, and I'll probably have a slap or two when the opportunity arises, like now, there's two of them together, easy slappings. And then I'm going to get out of there and get back to my job of protecting the switch. They tried to Molotov me, which I got lucky and dodged there. We got one of them down, there's a second one here, covered in zombies, vulnerable, low on health, down he goes. Now we're going to go back to our post. And you see, I'm just taking the time. I could rush after this other survivor here, poor little Ian, but I don't need to. There's no rush. Just let him keep trying to get up here. With his buddy's help, he might be able to do it. His other friends clocked on that I'm sat up here, so they're trying to shoot me now. But now Ian's a bit covered in zombies, so we're going to go after him. So we've picked them apart here. If I charged in, there was a danger I would get blasted down quickly. So I'm not going to take the risk. I'm just going to bide my time and wait for good opportunities, because there's no hurry. At least most of the time. Sometimes you should charge in like a maniac. But how do we identify when that time is? Well, I offer you this. ADH. Area, Distraction, Health. We're going to use this as kind of a green light system, right? These are three things that you need to assess before you charge in as the tank. Area. Are they in a big open space? Like here, on the ground floor, they've got loads of space to move around. It's going to be very difficult for me to catch them. Or are they in a small or tight space, like a narrow corridor or a couple of small rooms? This, of course, limits their movements and makes it much easier for me as the tank to give them a whack. Distractions. Are there any hordes or zombies around giving them trouble and slowing them down? Are there any special infected doing anything to them? Is one of them downed? Are they going to be distracted when trying to fight you as the tank? And lastly, health. Are they in green health? Because green health survivors can outrun you. You will not be able to catch them unless they make a mistake or a zombie grabs them. If a survivor is in yellow health or below, you will be able to catch them. And do know that when being shot, you will be slowed down a bit as the tank. So right here in this situation, I've got 3 red lights. They're in a big open area, they're not distracted by zombies, and most of them are in green health. This is not a good time for me to attack as the tank. I need to be patient and wait for the right opportunity and for these things to change. Because if I attack now, they're all just going to run down to the open floor, there's no zombies to slow them down, they'll all have clear line of sight on me, and they will blast me to pieces in about 10 or 15 seconds. Now the survivors are trying to move on a bit and ignore me here. I've just landed a rock hit, which has put one of them down into yellow health, and another one is in orange. So we're going to give a green light to the health now, because there's at least 2 of them I can catch. They're also moving up through the level, trying to get gas cans into a more narrow area of the map, which means it's a green light for the area. It's all narrow spaces up on the first floor of this map, so there's not a lot of room for them to move around. This is good for me. And oh, one of my teammates has just landed a boom. Now they're going to be distracted. That's 3 green lights. It's go time. It's murder time. It's go crazy mad smashy tank time. So we're going to charge in and focus down the survivors we know we can catch first. The ones in yellow or below health. Or the ones covered in boom so there are zombies all over them. We know they can't escape us. They can't outrun us. That's the important ones to take out first. So that's 2 people down. Another guy's gone down as well, so that's 3. Only 1 guy remaining. He's going to bio me in the face, but it's not going to save him. So we waited there. We waited for the right opportunity, just stayed up high through some rocks while we bought ourselves some time, and waited for something to happen. Whether that was the special infected on our team making a play, or a horde coming, or the survivors making a mistake. In this case, all 3 of those pretty much happened, so it was easy tanking for me. And here's what happens if you go in on 3 red lights in this situation. You see we're on the ground floor, lots of room to move, we're not distracted by zombies or specials really, and most of us are in green health. This guy has no chance, and now he's been set on fire, he's never going to catch us, he's wasted the tank life. Should have stayed up high throwing stuff until a better opportunity arose. But this is all just because he's a newer player and he doesn't know this stuff. So remember, assess the area with ADH before you charge in. But do also understand that no matter how good of a tank you are, sometimes you're just dealt a bad hand, and there's certain parts on certain maps where tanks can spawn that are really just impossible to do anything. Like this part of Dead Center, this is a really rough spot for a tank. No matter how well you try to play it, you're basically forced to walk down a bullet tunnel where you can't really do anything. Only a good special play could really do anything here. A charger coming from behind there might be able to make you do something, but it's very difficult. So don't be surprised if in some situations you just can't really do anything. And don't underestimate the importance of your special infected teammates. Sometimes it's up to them to make it happen for you, because when the tank spawns, it's still a team game. It's not like, oh, the tank is here, now the rest of us don't need to do anything, just let the tank do it all. You still need to help if you're special infected. Like this part of the No Mercy campaign can be really tough, and the tank is staying out the way, but these survivors made a fatal mistake, allowing me to get behind them and boom all over them. The hunters come in and slowed one of them down, and now it's going to be the beginning of the end for this survivor team. So when playing as the tank, keep an eye out for special support. Wait for those boomers, wait for those chargers to knock the survivors all over the place. Wait for a smoker to pull somebody off an edge. Because a tank making a stop can very often rely on how good the special support is. And to be honest, very often if a tank fails, it's because the other special infected didn't do anything useful and help the tank. It's not the tank's fault. There's only so much you can do as a solo tank. So here's a bit of an example. On the Dead Air campaign, I've just become a tank. This is a bit of a rough spot sometimes because there's a lot of space for them to sit out the way and shoot me from afar, and there's not a lot I can do to get to them. There is an event that they've just triggered, which does mean there's going to be some distraction for them, which is good, but they are all in green health as well, so it's going to be difficult for me to catch them. Zoe nearly making a mistake here coming out. I'm going to stay back though, and again I'm just halting their advance here. They want to push forward, but I'm just keeping them back there for now until something happens. I'm waiting for a special, ideally, to do something. There's a boomer running around. I'm hoping he's going to land a nice boom, and that'll set me up. I do see Zoe here, though, a bit vulnerable and in low health. Nearly get her down. She dodges that second punch somehow. I need to fall back, though, because I'm just getting pounded by shotguns. Need something to happen now. Just got to wait. Here comes the boomer, though. He makes a little play, gets two with his boom. That'll do nice. I'm going to try and put this Zoe down, as she now won't be able to run. She was trying to heal. Get blown up by the boomer. So I'm putting Zoe down. Boom. Going to try and get somebody else. There's a Francis, but he's running away from me. Try and throw a quick rock while they're not looking at me, but then they start looking at me and pounding me. This Lewis is going to try and get Zoe up nice and quick because he knows she's been boomed on and she's going to die quick if no one gets her up. They're trying to finish me off. Going to give this boy a slap. And I just saw that Zoe is very nearly dead, so I need to stop them from getting her up so that she'll at least die. I'm not going to stop the survivors here, but if I can make one of them die, I'll be happy. She's very, very nearly dead. They're going to try to get her up, but it's no good. She's died. So that's a victory for us. We didn't quite get the stop that we wanted, but we did kill one of the survivors. So that's better than nothing. But here I didn't get a lot of special support. There didn't seem to be any real problems for the survivors from the special infected, apart from that one boomer who made a bit of a play. But there was a charger, there was a spitter, there was a hunter and a jockey. They all didn't really do anything, so we weren't able to make the stop. Special infected, though, very important to the tank's success. Another useful tool for the tank's success is all the toys he has available. Any growing lad needs a good array of toys, such as police cars, logs, and bins, depending on the quality of your childhood. But things that you can hit the survivors with are incredibly powerful for the tank, because they can one-hit survivors to the ground. And what's more, if a survivor is on the ground and you keep smashing that toy onto their face, it will do damage and kill them instantly, like so. Rochelle is now gone. So don't be afraid to take the time to finish a survivor off where possible. Now, toys generally aren't essential to use. Some are in some situations on certain maps, like the ending, the finale of Dead Air here. This is a really tough spot for a tank to really do anything. It's a big open space. There's not often a lot of distraction. So hitting these baggage carts around is really the only hope of taking the survivors down. So it's good to try and use these. They'll kind of go where your crosshair is aimed. It's a bit unpredictable though, so it doesn't seem to always work like that, but it can be difficult with these big open spaces, especially when people are in green health. And there is a bit of a hitbox issue, it seems. Sometimes if a survivor jumps at just the right moment when you swing your tanky fist, they'll dodge it, even though you're right on top of them. So that sometimes happens, as you can see happening here once or twice, but yeah, just keep an eye out for toys. They're often highlighted for the tank so you can see the things that you can hit around. Usually cars, like I said, bins, these baggage carts. There's a log on some levels. So all of those things and their instant in-cap potential are very, very useful. I've seen entire teams being wiped out by one hit of a car before. It happens sometimes. There's a bit of luck involved, of course, but they are very useful to use, so keep an eye out for your toys. Also keep an eye out for edges, ledges and drops that you can knock the survivors down, because those can very often result in instant incaps or even just complete instant death, like so. The No Mercy finale, the Parish finale, this roller coaster, the top of the hospital in No Mercy, there's lots of good places where you can take advantage of the heights and easily make survivors fall to their death. Now, one very important thing we have to be aware of, the tank's worst enemy, fire. Fire is a huge problem for the tank because it takes away your ability to buy time. You can't stay out the way and just throw rocks or wait for special infected to do something. You have to charge in even if you're on 3 red lights and you're going to get absolutely slaughtered and do absolutely nothing. So before you charge in or go anywhere near the survivors, you need to check out what fire capabilities they have. You can keep an eye out for them carrying gas cans around, and you can see those on the floor, so those are kind of avoidable. But the real problem is Molotovs. We can check if the survivors have any of these by holding tab. You can see Coach and Ellis both have a Molotov, so I've got 2 that I have to watch out for and ideally try to avoid. So on this part of Dead Center, just before the alarmed grocery store, it's a pretty bad situation for me. There's 4 healthy survivors that can outrun me, they've got lots of room to move, and they're not really distracted by zombies or specials. So it's a tough spot, so all I can really do here is throw rocks and wait till something happens. And I am going to stand right at the back, out the way, where I'm able to hide behind this tree, I'm able to hide behind these vents, so they can't shoot me too much or see me very well, and thus they hopefully won't be able to throw any Molotovs over here with any success. And on many parts of many maps, there are ways to kind of bait out people throwing Molotovs. Like if you just completely run in a straight line forward near a survivor, they'll throw a Molotov where they think you're going to be. And if you pay attention, you can see them about to throw it, and you'll be able to then just backpedal and run backwards as quick as you can, and you'll avoid it and they'll waste that Molotov on the floor. So there's various ways to kind of bait out the survivors, and if you look really closely at the models, you can see when a survivor has a Molotov out, so you can kind of be ready for when they're going to throw it. And you can notice that on Coach here. You see how his arms are kind of down by his sides rather than holding weapons like the other 2 on the right? You can tell he's got a Molotov in his hand because his arms are down. I'm going to play a bit of a risky game and throw a rock here, but I feel like he's going to throw it, so I start holding left as quick as possible, and I just avoid that Molotov. It's a nice throw from Coach, but unfortunately I was able to see it coming and get out the way. So before you go anywhere near the survivors, hold tab, check which survivors have Molotovs, if any, and be wary of them. See if you can try and bait them into using them and wasting them, and you're going to have a much better chance of doing something useful as the tank. Which is a reason why you do need to be careful throwing rocks, especially if you're quite visible, because you will probably catch a Molotov because you'll be stationary and won't be able to move for a few seconds. Okay, I think that's most of the stuff to be aware of. Be patient, wait for the right opportunities. ADH, area, distraction, health, pay attention to those before you charge in. Wait for special support, use your toys, watch out for goddamn fire, and you might just make yourself useful. Here's a few examples of all of this in action. Okay, so example 1, Dead Air Campaign. This little event here where you have to burn the barricade. This isn't a bad spot for the infected though, there's a lot of places to hide, a lot of things to pull them down from, so not a bad spot. Gonna go up here, try to get a survivor where they're a bit separated, maybe hit 1 or 2, see if we can get somebody down. Gonna chase the Zoe off, try and use some of our toys. No one really near them though, so we're just going to hide out the way a little longer. And you can see at the bottom, I'm also keeping an eye on my special infected friends' timers. When they're able to spawn, this is going to be a good go time for me, because they'll be able to potentially help. I'm about to lose control, so I'm going to try and get this built. He does catch me with the fire, but he is going to get himself caught in the process. So a mistake from him, but my special infected buddies, a charger made a very nice play, gave me a free Lewis. There's also a boom coming in. And well, the special infected are going to finish the job. So a nice bit of teamwork, and all I had to do was kind of stay out the way and wait for my moment. Didn't really do a lot myself. This was mostly my teammates' win. Just because we're playing the tank doesn't mean we need all the glory. Now to the finale of the Death Toll campaign. This can be a pretty rough one for infected. There's a little house they can hide in. You can't really get them very well as special infected. And then when the tank comes, there's a big open space outside, usually with no horde unless there's a boom. So it can be really tough as the tank. The best thing I can do here is just stay out the way and throw rocks, and hope I get some hits. Doesn't matter if I lose control, I'd rather it go to somebody else than me try to charge in now, because I'll just get blasted down. And even if tank control goes to the AI because us players don't do anything with it, at least we bought the most time possible, because it's very unlikely you'll be able to do anything if you charge in, so might as well make it take as long as possible, let the AI take control, and then they can charge in, and maybe you'll be able to do something with the special infected in that time. But in this case, I'm actually trying to draw them to my toy here, as Francis does by. He tries to light me on fire, but he fails miserably, and tries to catch a log with his face, which obviously isn't a good idea. So he's gone down. Now the advantage is mine. I've got one of them down. All I need to do is keep him down. I managed to catch Bill. I did hit the log again. Managed to hit Zoe as well. So I got pretty lucky on this run. And now Lewis is the only one left standing. All because I just waited. And the opportunity came along. And I got a bit lucky with how the log landed. And now it's a GG. And I'm just going to play with my log until the end of the round, because the special infected can finish off that Lewis. I don't really need to pursue him. One of the special infected will grab him because he's in green health. I'm not going to be able to outrun him, so I'll just let them deal with him. I'm going to play with my log and wait for the round to end. Now to the parish again. This event, the survivors have already made it to the button by the time I'd spawned, so not much point me trying to stop them getting to the button, but I'm just going to stay out the way, throw some rocks, and again, just waiting for something to happen, waiting for a boom to come along, waiting for a charger or another special infected to make some kind of play. One of the survivors is down, so there is that advantage, but still, 3 of them are in green health. They got a big area, they got some high ground. There are some zombies running around, so there's a bit of distraction, but still doesn't feel like a good time to charge in yet. I'm going to wait, no hurry. My special infected buddies are about to respawn, so we're just going to keep throwing rocks from afar. They're struggling to get their Rochelle up. Starting to shoot me a bit now though, so I'm going to fall back. Don't want to get shot up too much. Make them look elsewhere. Charger comes up though. Gets a big charge, knocks one around, charges the other one off, and now it's go time. They're thoroughly distracted. A jockey's grabbed another one there. 1's down, 2's down, 3's probably going to be down, and then I've just got to finish off the 4th one. I'm going to go play with Nick. Tries to Molotov me. Quick dodge, he gets boomed on. And then that's pretty much the end. And I didn't really have to do anything in this one. All I did was throw some rocks and just stop them from running forward. Which is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to stand in this doorway where they need to go to advance. Poor old smelly Jesus over there. He's getting bonked by zombies. I'm just going to stand in the way. He can't advance until he gets past me. So I'm just going to watch his demise, play with my food, and enjoy the show. You got to admire his heart. He's still going until a charger comes up behind him and starts whacking him in the back of the head. Then it's the GG. And then back to dead air, this same spot at the barricades. But they're all pretty healthy. They got some room to move. The event is going, but it's not a great distraction as it is quite easy if you just sit on the back wall in this area. They're not quite there yet though, so I'm going to go in, try to get a couple of hits, try and divide them a little bit, see if I can knock somebody down. Going to charge in. Don't quite get the Lewis. Managed to get a whack on Zoe. Going to try and put her down as she's now very close to downage. Get her down. Now we need to get out the way because we're just getting blasted. We've got her down. Now the advantage is kind of ours. We can just sit and kind of wait and try to stop them getting her up. Because while she's down, she's slowly going to die. And maybe if we can keep her down, she will die. But while we've been patiently waiting, a smoker has pulled down this cocky Lewis, who's now scrambling to get himself back up. But I've already got him. So this is going to be another down for me. And then again, I can just go and hide out the way. We don't need to push after the other 2 survivors just yet. We can take our time. We don't have a ton of health left. We just need to buy time for the more special infected to come. This one's going to get a hunt on Francis. It's going to allow me to catch him. Give him a little smack around. He's going to escape me just. He's going to magically dodge my hits. We'll talk about that in a second. Going to try and get him with one of my toys, my bins. But then the smoker gets him again, and I'm going to bin him to finish him off. And a jockey's got the other guy. And there we go. A bit of patience and working with the special infected. Easy win. And one more on the parish finale. A bit of bridge running fun. Survivors not in too bad of a condition, but no hurry. All I need to do is stop them. There's lots of cars around. I spy an opportunity with Rochelle. Somehow it bugs and she survives the car hit, which isn't right. She should be down, but she got lucky. We're going to try to get her down. We will eventually get there. Got a hit there. The survivor lag is making it tough, though. That can be a big problem for the tank. Get her down there. The jockey's got the guy who ran off in front. So that's going to be 2 down. I'm being shot by an Ellis. He's going to outrun me, so I'm not going to bother trying to chase him, because I don't really need to. There's no hurry. I could chase him. Maybe a zombie will come up behind him and stop him running away from me, but let him stand back there. Doesn't bother me. He's not gaining any points. I'll just make him watch his friends die, and we can listen to the glorious sounds of victory. Beautiful. Going to try and sneak a rock hit in here while this fella's not looking. He turns around, sees it just in the nick of time, but somehow the rock still hits him there. Probably shouldn't have, but whatever. Charger goes for the insta-kill, doesn't quite get it, but gets him down. Coach tries to run away, catches a rock in the back, and that is a GG. So hopefully with these examples, you can see everything I've talked about all coming together, and how most of the time I'm just patiently waiting for something to happen. A mistake to be made, a special to do something, them to be in a bad situation, and then we go in for the kill. And just to end, a few miscellaneous tips. First of all, the survivor lag, which I've mentioned a few times. If you've seen my 5 rules of infected video, I talked about it in more detail in there. Maybe go and watch that if you haven't already so you understand exactly what's happening. I'll link it at the end of this video, but basically the survivors are never actually where they appear on your screen. They're always about 2 or 3 feet ahead of where you actually see them. So when you try to hit them as a tank, you kind of need to aim that way. You need to think, where are they in about 1 second's time, and then try to punch there, because that's how you hit them, because they're not actually where you see them on your screen. It's a bit weird, but that is just the latency of online games. What can you do? Another thing is, don't attack survivors that have been grabbed by a special infected. If a smoker's got a hold of a survivor, let them do the work, because that survivor's dead. Unless, of course, there's a good chance that they might be saved by the smoker being shot by another survivor, then you should maybe go for the hit and do the damage as they are stationary. Same with jockeys and hunters. Let jockeys carry the survivor away somewhere. Let hunters do their damage, because hunters damage pretty quick. So if you can just let them do their work, they'll down the survivor quicker than you probably can. So yeah, don't be greedy unless you think you can make use of that survivor being stationary. Perhaps they'll be set up for an insta-kill to smash them off the edge. Then you could maybe go for it. Here's a good example, and leading me to the final tip, which is use yourself as a meat shield. You can actually protect other special infected by using your body. You see they're trying to shoot this smoker to save this guy, but I'm blocking all the bullets, they can't hit the smoker, and then it's an easy finish. So there you go. A guide to playing tank in Left 4 Dead 2. It's honestly quite simple, but it does just take some practice. Learning to read a situation quickly and then try to strike at the right time. That's all you really need to do, but most importantly, just be patient. Play the exact opposite of how you would expect a tank to play most of the time, and then when the time is right, unleash the beast and go mad and play how you would expect a tank to play. Hope you've enjoyed this, thanks for watching, see you in the future.